Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to the Bonus Point podcast. Once again, I'm your host, TJ Olson, and now that we finally have live rugby back, we can finally get to what the podcast is all about, and that's covering rugby during the week. But just before we get into that, I just want to jump into thanking our sponsors first off. So first off, Whalebird Kombucha. If you're looking for a great tasting beverage that is actually good for you, go try them out at your local Whole Foods, Air One, or other health food stores. Secondly, F45 Culver City. So F45 isn't just a gym. It's a real community, and their team is all about helping you achieve your fitness goals with sessions in just 45 minutes. They've now opened up and partnered with a cleaning company to make sure they're operating at the safest kind of facilities in LA as a gym. So go check them out. They're on Washington Boulevard. So on this episode, as I said, finally, we have live rugby back. And what this podcast was supposed to be about to begin with was about talking about what was happening in the rugby community and the rugby world. So obviously at the moment, we've only got Super Rugby going on. So that's Super Rugby AU and Super Rugby New Zealand. But hopefully once all the other competitions start back up and Test Rugby start back up, we want to eventually start talking about everything that's happening in the rugby world. And instead of me kind of just conversing about it and talking to myself, instead of you guys listening to me for an hour, I thought I'd bring along a guy I've known for a long time who's going to be hopefully a guest analyst with us week to week. And that is going to be my good friend, Tavita Halafia, aka Novel Capote. What's going on, brother? How are we doing?
Hey, salutations, my man. It's good to finally have this up and running. I'm excited for our episode together.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time coming. I know you had to make the trek back to Australia. We were looking to kind of do the episodes together in person, but it's good to.
This is thank God for Zoom. Zoom has been amazing, right?
Man, I don't think obviously you could do like, I don't know, like the Chrome video chat and like other stuff, but like Zoom just kicks ass when it comes to kind of having just video.
Pun intended, is Zoom's just Zoom. You just get in, press join, and away we go. So I like it. And we can share videos too, so it's going to be great, especially moving forward. Just popping in week to week with some analysis of the games that have been had. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for today.
Yeah, dope. Okay, let's get cracking. So, first off, we want to talk about both Super Rugby competitions, but let's just talk about just general vicinity. How have you felt with the first kind of 3 weeks of Super Rugby New Zealand and first week of Super Rugby AU? How have you felt overall with the comps?
Yeah, I think, well, first, I'm going to have to say this because I got brought up on this a couple of weeks ago. The Super Rugby competition in New Zealand is officially called Super Rugby Aotearoa. So you'll notice if anyone watches the commentary, they actually don't say New Zealand. They actually say Super Rugby Aotearoa, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, also it just sounds heaps better. I think what the competition across the ditch has shown is exactly what happens when teams stay focused and remain together as a team and come back full swing. I think the Blues have definitely shown what happens when a team actually joins together and actually do work hard in these sort of weird off-season type moments.
Because they went through two pretty much pre-seasons. They had their regular pre-season. They had, what was it? It was like 4 or 5 weeks into, or was it 3?
I think 3 weeks.
It was like 3 weeks in, and then all this kind of craziness happened, and then you've got to go through a whole nother pre-season
again. And I think we can see specifically what the Blues forward pack have done. Because truth be told, the first few rounds they weren't too dominant. They were competitive, definitely, but they weren't dominant. And what you're seeing now is a dominance that Auckland have not seen in quite a while, which I'm excited for the Blues Crusaders match this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's something that was definitely building within their kind of NPC, their Mitre 10 Cup program. They were building, correct. But with lack of, I guess, experience and a lot of young players, it's finally now flourished and come out. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think watching the first week of the Australian Super Rugby competition, like, I don't want to sound a bias, but we're definitely seeing a different level of rugby under the banner of Super Rugby. Now, I understand there's been a bit of hustle and bustle, especially with the Players Association in Australia and the Rugby Australian Committee, but the level of playing that we're seeing I think really shows the difference between the two Super Rugby conferences and how the New Zealand conference right now is definitely at a level 2 or 3 grades above what we're seeing with the Australian competition. Now, that's not a diss to the Australian competition at all. I think it comes down to the professionalism in this off-season type scenarios that have taken place. But I honestly didn't see anything during the first week of Australian Super Rugby that made me think that they were going to be any competition to the New Zealand
Yeah,
conference.
that it's like neck and neck. Yeah, it's
Yeah, do you know? Which is sad because I was actually really hoping that that was going to be the case. I'm especially excited with Rugby Australia with the amount of young guys that are coming through.
that's what
Uh,
I was thinking too. Is like when I was watching the games, because I watched the New Zealand game first, and then I watched the Australian game straight afterwards. And just watching it, it looks like bloody Premier grade rugby against like Colts rugby. It's just
yeah,
so many younger players, and they're
yeah,
talented. Like you said, no
very
diss,
talented.
but it's something where you look at them and it's just so much younger and so much
Yeah,
less experience. So
and
yeah,
and and I think too, like even the less experience, you've got guys in the competition across the ditch, and they're the same age, and they're playing. Their mentality is completely different. You can see the calmness. That was the
mm,
one thing that I noticed is the New Zealand, pardon me, the Aotearoa competition a lot more level heads.
yeah,
There were no push passes. The forced errors were minimal statistically across
hmm
all games comparatively to the Australian first week too. But again, nerves plays into that. You
mm,
know, everyone's coming off an off season, so you're really finding out, and we're going to see moving forward which teams in the Australian competition and individuals in general who have put in that work.
yeah,
I also
no.
want to say on that note, Nella Tupou has come back ridiculously fitter. I was like,
So much, yeah. It's
oh my
yeah,
goodness. Oh, and just watching him. So, if you watch his journey from Sacred College in New Zealand to coming over to the Reds, he's always struggled in the scrums. He's always been dominated. And
mm,
just watching him decimate the Waratahs scrum by
yeah,
himself and seeing his fitness across like on the field, I was just
yeah.
like, damn, man, you definitely worked in the off season.
Incredible, yeah, incredible kind of transformation that he's done. But on that note, let's jump in. Let's talk about the kind of the Red Stars game. So the first, as I said, the first week of Super Rugby, I felt like I was watching kind of a game of rugby league with better scrums because with
Correct.
all their trial laws. So it has been very interesting, like the line dropout and the
Correct.
50-22 rule.
50-22. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on the 50-22?
I mean, I kind of like it. I think it promotes kind of the kind of the wingers to drop and kind of promotes more ball in hand. So it's offering
Mm-hmm.
kind of, although you may see like James O'Connor, as soon as he got an opportunity to kind of kick that ball, he took it. He
Him,
said
yeah,
he was
him and
practicing. Yeah,
McDermott. Yeah.
yeah,
I think
they
the
were
one
both
thing
practicing.
definitely what I did like about the 50-22 rule is like you just said, it promotes ball in hand, but it also the wingers that deliberately drop during a game. Now they're in two questions because they're going to watch the first receiver. If it's not a crash ball with a forward runner, they're looking at the 10 or the 12 or the 13 who's in play. The moment they start running, they're not entirely sure whether they should rush in that defense
Yeah,
or hold, which
mm,
opens up the game a little bit. And I thought the Reds Tars game was beautiful that first half, where you could see the Reds toying with them. And
yeah,
the
mm,
Waratahs back three are sort of like, what do we do? Are we cramming? And then when they did cram, ball in hand, and the
mm,
Reds were definitely getting momentum. But then when they dropped, they ran it just and they went the 1-2 pass and then kicked it over, or Tate McDermott would just lob it over.
yeah,
And I thought, wow, like you're in
yeah,
two minds now. Like, especially as a winger, you're like, yo, what am I doing? Am I
yeah.
sticking? Am I staying? So I think it's great. I love the rule. I think it's dope.
And that's something that comes with like trial laws. Obviously, it's going to be as it is called. It's trial and error. So you got to kind of have kind of just that trial and error period. We can figure out what's the best opportunity for me to do, and
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of feel it out. And these guys have only been, some of them have only been back in training for a couple of weeks, so they've only been able to kind of practice that kind of stuff. But with kind of sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you could tell too, like those trial laws, the Reds in that second half, they just did not come out firing, but they capitalized on these new trial laws, and those were the determining factors where they picked up those two quick penalties. They were going to the 22, and that's, they were doing the 50-22 kicks. Then they were retaining the ball through penalties and kicked their way to victory, which I thought was, I was like, wow, okay, those are game changers now. Like you were being dominated in that second half, but with smart play from your 9 and 10, you switched the game around and you ended up winning the game, which I thought was really, like, I was like, wow, okay, I like these laws.
Yeah, I think James O'Connor's been about really hit and miss the last few years, but now he's kind of come into his own with this squad, I think, and he's now kind of able to kind of utilize his skill set.
100%. I've been very vocal about James O'Connor. And I'm more than happy to say, like, I thought he had a really solid first hit out. I thought his communication to his backline and forward pack was amazing, and he led that pack really well. And Tate McDermott too at 9 was crushing it for me. That's a really good combination they have in the 9 and 12. And the back three for the Reds, the 6, 7, 8. Mark my words, that will be the Wallaby back three coming into the next World Cup.
So you got Liam Wright, you've got Solokai Alotu. Or was he playing? Yep.
Oh no, he was playing lock.
Lock. He was playing lock. Yeah.
He was playing lock. Yeah.
He had a cracker of a game as well, though.
He had a great. I think I like him in the lock position. There's almost less pressure on him to get around the puck and just sort of stay in the middle and just be the like devastating runner that he is.
Yeah, he sucks in pretty much like 2 or 3 tacklers every time he runs the ball and just tries galore for people.
The dude's a scary runner, man. Like he's a scary runner. But that 6, 7, 8 though, Liam Wright, Fraser McRae, Harry Wilson, bro, that guy.
So I had no idea who Harry Wilson was because the Reds have gone through a lot of changes over the years, and to be honest, I've been keeping up with the boys mostly, so I've been keeping up with like a handful of people. But he had a great game as well. I was very surprised by it.
Dude, man, anytime you've got a coach across the ditch saying that he's in love with you, like you're doing something right. And Scott Robertson is he's in love with Harry Wilson. Yeah. And I think Harry Wilson he's the future, man. Like it's really good to see a big, large, mobile forward, and he's got silky hands. Silky hands, man.
He's got handles. He's a good one. But let's talk about so with Kurtley Beale gone, he's obviously gone overseas. He signed a contract. You don't really have too much leadership besides from Hooper and Simmons, and that's in your forward pack. And then you've got guys like Maddox and those kind of players. Where do you think kind of the leadership is coming from in that team? Is it just those guys?
Well, I'm going to come out straight away and just say I think Michael Hooper has definitely, I don't know what's happened, but he's definitely not the leader he once was. I was quite disappointed. He gave away a lot of penalties and not the type of penalties that, sneaky 6s and 7s get away with. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Just, I think, mind explosions. So I think he fell short on the leadership, which is why I think he gave up the captaincy, right?
Yeah, so he gave it up. He wanted to kind of go away from the captaincy and just focus on his rugby, supposedly. Yeah. And now it's Simmons taking the reins, and he said he basically wants to be an integral part of the leadership group, but he doesn't want to be that person to kind of take the cop for those kind of calls. Yeah.
I think I've always been a fan of Rob Simmons. Yeah, look, leadership-wise, I honestly don't think the Waratahs came out firing, and I think the lack of leadership in the back line was definitely what was missing. I thought Maddox had a great game. I don't think that at fullback you can really purely dictate what's going to happen. And, I mean, I really like, was it Will Harrison at 10? I think he's got great potential. But
the under 20s Aussie player,
and I just think they lacked someone in that inside channel, whether it be 10 or 12, to really direct the boys around the paddock. Having said that, in the second half, Maddox really stepped up, and you could see him running the wide lines or coming in, and he was really opening them up. But I think that came from the Reds sort of going to sleep for
Yeah.
25, 30 minutes of that second half, as opposed to a dominant back line taking control. And for all the faults that I think Curtly Bill has, he is a good leader on the field. And his kicking game is exceptional, and they are missing that at the moment.
Yeah, you had I can never pronounce his last name. The winger with the afro.
Was it
I can't. It's such a long last.
Nawase?
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
He tried to have a couple of kicks, and then they just went straight through the middle of the field, just straight to their fullback. And I was the same. I thought they were kind of lacking that territory factor, but
and that's what killed them in the end. I mean, they were great in the second half running. But when they needed territory and field dominance, unless they had the ball in hand, they weren't countering too well at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think led to them losing towards the end of that second half.
Because it was a very tight game. It was a
good game. It was a game of two halves. The Reds were so dominant in that first half. And in the second half, the Waratahs were dominant. But like we said earlier, what won the Reds that game was the territory played by Tate McDermott and James O'Connor. And those 50-22s literally won them the game. And the forward pack stepped it up. I thought the Reds forward pack in the last 10 minutes stepped it up to keep the pressure on the Waratahs, which made your James Hoopers to just do silly things that were just, titillating him with like, oh, there's some open ball, put your hand on it, bang, penalty.
Yeah. It's always those teams that are kind of like chasing the lead or chasing kind of coming back from the deficit. They're always looking for those things. Well, how can I kind of make up for that? And it's always just either panic mode, and they'll make maybe a mistake here, like a good call here and there, but there's just constant mistakes and constant penalties. And especially with the referee being so critical in these competitions, you can't afford those.
No, definitely. Just on the referees, I thought the refereeing was really nice on the weekend for the Reds.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I thought it was great. Damon Murphy on the sideline, he's a world-class referee, and he really, when it came down to his side of the pitch, he ran the long advantages. He didn't stop play, and he let the ref know. And I thought the ref controlled it beautifully. I thoroughly enjoyed the Reds Waratahs game, in that it was flowing and he was letting the long advantages play out.
That's the thing that kind of drives me insane, is when people who are refereeing the game, you obviously have an advantage that you can utilize where you can kind of just let it play out, but then they call it back after 3 seconds and you're sitting there going, that's just what the advantage is there for.
Exactly.
Utilize it.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll jump over and we'll have a chat about the Brumbies Rebels game. So in this one, obviously the Brumbies the superior team, but I literally thought they were the superior team. So the scoreboard alone, and besides from the last kind of 10, 20 minutes, I believe the Brumbies played a lot better than the Rebels did. What do you think?
The statistics perfect. Like, I mean, Brumbies almost ran double the amount of meters in attack to the Rebels. And here's the thing, the Brumbies are literally the Australian version of the Crusaders, right? They have such a good system that it doesn't matter if you're a Colts player or, coming through, or you've been there for 15 years, it doesn't change. The system remains the same. Everyone knows what to do, how to pick apart and play the position that they're meant to play, whether it's in attack or defense. And I mean, when you're talking about almost doubling the meters of the Rebels, like in attack, like, dude, you got no chance of beating a team when they're doing that to you.
And then I thought the first try that scored, I think it was a pretty well
That's your
thought
boy.
out trick move. Yeah, Andy Muirhead. He was on the show the last episode.
Yeah, that was a good try, man.
Folau ran a good line as well. I think he sucked in the right people. He didn't kind of turn his body before he had to go. He stayed square, little pop inside, and
definitely.
Andy Muirhead in for the win. Yeah, but I think the person that kind of stuck out the most for me, who I haven't really seen play much, is Lolosio, their number 10. So I think,
dude,
I think he played really well. Yeah,
dude, and kicking, really Really enjoyed his kicking. And here's the thing, right? This is where I think the Australian teams have lacked since sort of your Stephen Larkhams, is a guy that doesn't have to impose a dominant physical effect, but can just play territory so smart
Mm.
and have their hands that Lolesio has. You know what I mean? Like those short balls, nice and soft. When he was cutting, it was direct. He doesn't run across, he runs straight. He draws in those inside guys. That leaves the next guy in the outside channel. Is he coming short? Is he going long? So that gives the guy and his team time to choose what angle he's running at. He's very impressive, and I can't wait to see him against the rest of the Australian teams.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Yeah, I think you hit it on the nail on the head with there. He was able to play make. He was able to make line breaks even when he set up that try. His kicking was on point. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely someone that we should be looking out for if Test rugby goes ahead this year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of him. And you know what? And not to say anything bad about the Rebels. I thought the Rebels, I thought Matt Tamor coming back was going to be a really, really big asset for them. I think Matt Tamor is they're putting in too much pressure on him to do too much. And I think Meeks and Hodge, especially Hodge, like Hodge can kick, he can play. Meeks is your classic 12, okay? Give me the ball. I'm gonna run as hard as I can, look for that offload, and I'm gonna be the greatest defender in the world.
Every time he got the ball, he didn't once look to offload or pass. He kind of just looked at where he was going and just heading straight in there.
I thought he was smart too, especially playing against the likes of Kurandrani at 13, but sort of an unknown in Array Simone at 12. He was playing smart, like, all right, cool, like let's see what you're about. But I just think Tamor is just being put under too much pressure. They've got a 9 that I think the delivery is a little slow for the likes of someone like Matt Tamor, who likes to play at depth and really utilize that 12-13 channel to, make something of it. But then, you look at their backline and it's, Korobidi, Haley Petty, Kellaway, Hodge, Meeks. Dude, it's
a quality backline, yeah. But I was actually pretty surprised with Korobedi's game. I think once he shaved his beard off, he kind of went a bit stale. He didn't really have a very good game. So
like Samson, right? Like his strength is his beard hair. Now.
Well, that's what I think it was Phil Kearns, and obviously I'm one of the people who can't stand Phil Kearns when he commentates, but he was standing there talking and commentating on the game, and he was like, I don't even recognize him without the beard. He looks completely different. So
right, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised too. To be honest with you, I'm really surprised. I also thought
it's week 1, so yeah,
it's week 1, and that's what I mean. We can't be too judgmental on week 1 because, like I said, nerves play a big part. Even though these guys are professionals, they have been out. And there's a lot of people. It's similar to people going back to work in the office for the first time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what to expect. So it was an enjoyable game, not as enjoyable as I thought the Waratahs Reds game was. Brumbies were 100%, like you said, dominant start to finish. And I don't think the Rebels. I honestly don't think the Rebels had a chance. At all.
It's something that a lot of people have been saying. It's when you kind of reference it to basketball as well. It's you can stay in quarantine and you can try and stay as fit as possible, but until you start running back and forth on the court and you kind of start getting game fit and match fit, you're never going to be able to kind of just jump in there and go straight away. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to see kind of them make a bit of a comeback in week 2, because that was Matt Tamor's 100th Super Rugby game. So he's definitely got the experience, but I agree with you.
Rebels are at home this week, so it's gonna be really good. I'm interested to see. I'm worried for the Rebels forward pack because I think the Reds forward pack is gonna run them ragged.
Yeah,
the back line is gonna be interesting, and Waratahs Western Force. Come on, Western Force.
So, we'll move into that right now. So it's something where 3 years without the Western Force in Super Rugby, and they're in action this weekend. But a lot of people are saying from that hiatus from Super Rugby that they haven't kept prepared for this kind of caliber of competition. What do you say to that?
if I'm going to be really honest, after week one, I think those people of Australian rugby, I think those people need to come off their high horses, because I haven't seen.
I think me personally, I think that's one thing where if it's Australian rugby people saying that, I think they're just doing that to cover their ass and say that we've kicked these people out of the competition,
Yeah,
and then they've got to go. We can't say they're going to be good.
Yeah, I definitely think political biases have played a part in that. There's definitely some logic behind it. But the Western Force, I mean, I've seen a couple of their games, and they've definitely got great patterns. It's a tough first round for them coming up against the Waratahs.
Oh, definitely.
And I say tough in that, across the board, regardless of last week's performance, they're coached by a great coach. You got the likes of Rob Simmons and James Hooper there, who are internationally, top quality. So it'd be really good to see how Western Force fare. I definitely think watching the rugby championship, not rugby championship. What was it? The
rapid rugby.
Rapid rugby.
Yeah.
That they were definitely a level above anyone that they played.
Yeah,
and I think
that's definitely sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think their feeder club that they had for the Australian Rugby Champion, was it the Club Rugby? With the NRC National Rugby Championship. Like they were good, man. Like they were definitely levels above everyone else. Like levels above everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great hit out, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like I'm looking forward to seeing that game the most this week, across both Super Rugby comps, because I think it's going to be a great indicator of what can happen when rugby is privatized.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I think rapid rugby, it's been a big eye opener for a lot of people just to see kind of what's going on. And I think a lot of people have been talking about that in regards to revenue when it comes to New Zealand rugby, where they need to kind of compete with the overseas bids for things like Japanese contracts, UK contracts, things like that, and privatizing the game and giving people private ownership or kind of private stakes and that kind of thing. It's just something that really hasn't been trialed in kind of Australasia. So I think it's something that could be interesting. Whether that would go ahead or not, who knows? Yeah,
definitely. They haven't released the teams here yet, and it's Thursday over here. So I think later this afternoon the teams get released. So I'm definitely looking forward, because I know there's a couple of boys that I know that are in the system over there. So it'll be interesting to see. There's a South boy actually.
Yeah, you've got Palmer Fowl, you've got Andrew Reddy, you've got Folletti, who used to play for South, and now he's he's playing for Jeeps. They've got some experience. Like don't get me wrong, I think they're going to have a good hit out. Whether they can sustain the 80 minutes in the kind of the caliber of Super Rugby, we'll find out.
Here's the thing: rapid rugby is a lot faster.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
So I think it could play into their favor. I think where they could be outplayed will be forward dominance and leadership through the front.
Yeah. Okay.
But right. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, this is all hypothetical until we watch the game.
I know, right? This is the best part. Also, how good is it we get to talk rugby, man? This is all we wanted to do since you came up with this idea, and now we're doing it. I'm so
for a long time. For a long time.
No, people are just going to be listening to us thinking they just want to talk about rugby, and they're just recording it. Yes, that's exactly what this is.
Definitely, 100%. Okay, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Super Rugby Aotearoa. Welcome back. All right, so now we're talking about the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition. So obviously, like we said, it's been something we've been waiting for to come back, and we've had a bit of a bad run of it. But we'll talk about the first. we'll talk about the first game. We'll get to it in a bit. We'll save for it. But the Great Southern Derby, we got Crusaders and the Highlanders. So obviously, a lot of people thinking Crusaders have a lot of depth. They've been pretty much the Super Rugby team in the competition for years and years. They've got the most championships. But yeah, let's talk about the Crusaders. So I think Will Jordan, from them very young, had a very great game.
Dude, just wow, man. I was just like, dude, where did this guy come from?
He system.
Right, for real. Tasman? Is he playing for Tasman?
Tasman, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a weird story. Is when he was playing for schoolboy rugby, and then he got selected by the Mako. I think he didn't really think he had a chance at playing like high caliber rugby. He kind of just thought, I'll just go play and just see if I can make NPC, and then that's it. And now he's burst onto the scene. They won the Mitre 10 Cup championship, and now he's just crushing it for the Crusaders.
He's so elusive, so elusive. He's amazing. I think
it's every motion he's gone through. It's just he's able to elude everyone. You're 100% right.
Here's the thing: it's Christian Cullen like, and the meters he gains in attack is disgusting. I was looking. I'm like, man, you're an Energizer bunny, bro. You just keep going and going. And no offense to like other fullbacks in the league right now in the system, but it's been a very long while since we've seen someone just literally like, I'm just gonna run because I'm gonna beat 3 people and I know I will. But not only that, set up plays, whether it's the quick, deliberately runs back into traffic because he can see that, we're going to take that hit, quick ball, and we're going to go wide. Or it's, I'm going to go down the sideline by myself because I know my wing is going to come with me on the inside. Or do you know what I mean? Like, he's just playing amazing rugby, man. It's beautiful to watch. His confidence.
That's what a lot of people, yeah.
And he's young, man. That confidence. That's dangerous.
That's what a lot of people have been seeing, is that he's able to kind of make something out of close interactions at the ruck, or whether he's coming from the back and he's counter attacking. So you'll see like your kind of regular counter attackers would be your Bowden Barretts and your Damien McKenzies, where they come from deep and they attack space and they're able to kind of weave through like a sevens player. And then you've got other kind of fullbacks where they're right next to the ruck and they're just looking for little gaps and set things up. So he's doing everything on both sides of the ball. He's able to defend pretty well.
Yeah. His defense is really good, man, and safe under the high ball, bro. Real safe. I was actually, I Googled him. I was a bit, I fanboyed him a little bit. Not a small kid. Not a small kid.
Well, how tall is he?
It's about, what? It's 6'3"?
Really? I didn't think he was that tall.
Yeah, so like he's on that weird Bowden Barrett brothers sort of level where they're like, they don't look that tall, but they're actually pretty tall.
In person, they're giants. Yeah.
Well,
I think the Crusaders are spoiled for choice. Where you've got Havili, you've got Will Jordan, you've got George Bridge, you've got Sevu Reece.
Are we gonna look? If I'm David Havili right now, mate, your position's gone, G.
I think that's where Razor's going to have a really tough decision on his hands, because Havili's been a quality player for him for so long.
So good. I think and no player ever wants to hear that you're suited for the bench, but he can cover 10, 12, 13, 15,
everything.
14, 11. That's the guy that you need on your bench, especially if the way rugby's going now, how it's getting that little bit faster. You want a guy that can, because you're going to need a half, and you want someone that can cover. And I think the one thing that the All Blacks and New Zealand rugby have right now, but they never looked into it, was like having that bench player that can really just cover every position at like 95% of what a specialist could.
I think they had that a little bit with Anton Leonard-Brown, but he could only play in the centres. Like they knew he could play both 12 and 13. Yeah, but he was able to play both positions quite well. Where you're right, where you don't really have. I mean, you have Geordie Barrett, where he has experience at playing 10 and 15, and he can play in the centres if needed. But he's not that person who can execute everything at every position every time. Yeah.
And I've always rated David Havili, but yeah, look, I think Will Jordan's really stepped up the fullback position and how to play it. It's like seriously, he's a mix between Bowden Barrett and Christian Cullen, which is amazing.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, and he played wing on the weekend. So yeah, so if you've got George Bridge that comes back from, I believe, his injury that he's had, and then you've got
next week. They reckon.
I think so. I think that's what I heard. I think it's a following week, because I can't remember what it was, but I think it's one more week he's out. But if you've got George Bridge and Sevu Reece on the wings, and you've got Will Jordan at fullback, I don't it's going to be tough to kind of beat that back three.
It'll be tough,
so.
man. Real tough. Real tough.
But let's talk about the Highlanders. So it was a tight game. So it wasn't like the Crusaders walked over them. In the 70 minutes that they played, it was a very tight game. But the last 10 minutes, it kind of fell away from them. Yeah.
Hey, man, look, that's the Crusaders rugby, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They wind down. I think I've really enjoyed watching the Highlanders. I think they're just not finishing.
Yeah, well, that's actually a point that I wanted to talk about is Nareki's pass that he should have made,
bro.
That hurt me to the depths because like I was sitting there and Richie Mwanga just lined him up. But if you're gonna go to the line and you're gonna hold it for that long, you either got to make a play for the line and try and score a try, or or get rid of it early.
Oh, dude, like that's not even school. That's under 10 stuff, bro. Draw and pass, and he double pumped. Like,
yeah, he did. Yeah,
like if you're gonna double pump, then you don't pass it. The whole point of the double pump is to pump, and then roll over someone or step in. And he did neither. He
didn't move at all. He just stayed straight.
He literally just like, what were you, bro? Richie Mo'unga is not a small 10. Okay,
no, he's
that
not.
Dude got those Tongan tree trunks that just planted. His shoulder hit you like a Mack truck on a VW Beetle, and you got axed, my G.
I've never seen a tackle that good. I think I was watching Sunnybank. I can't remember who they were playing, but everyone just thought, okay, it's Matt Lucas playing 10. I'm gonna bowl over this prick because he is literally 5 foot nothing. And then he
like
just laid every Super Rugby player out on that field, and even props.
Exactly. We know what it's like being smaller rugby players. Everyone just looks at you like, yeah, you know. And we like small dudes got chips on our shoulders, bro. We trying to David all those Goliaths.
Oh man. Okay. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Highlanders. I think Highlanders. I'm liking their rolling maul a lot. I think they're really up on a lot of the other teams. But again, like the breakdown, like they're just that little bit slow to the breakdown, or like they just do something stupid, man. The discipline has been. I think they've got the least amount of penalties across. Don't quote me on that. I remember reading it, and I was pretty sure it was the Highlanders, which surprised me. But yeah, they just seem to lack an 80-minute game right now.
Yeah, they've got a pretty inexperienced backline, I believe. Like you've got Hunt at 10, and you've got guys like Nareki and who have you got coming off you've got Karoi coming off the bench because he had a shocking first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're definitely right. It's their kind of lacking effort to just finish that 80 minutes. And even though you've got good leadership roles like Dixon, and you've got Coltman, whoever's on the field, who's ever playing hooker.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, man, Dixon, bro, he's an unheralded savior of New Zealand rugby, bro. That kid, bro, I have been such a big fan of his for so long, and I think like, man, if I'm in the Highlanders, bro, I'm playing for that dude, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's a champion. I just want to say that I think he's an amazing player, and I
agree. Yeah.
He deserves a lot more accolades than what he currently gets.
Yeah, I think he definitely should have been given a crack in the All Blacks jersey. Like he's played a lot of Māori All Blacks games, and I don't know if he's gotten a cap for the actual All Blacks. But you've got kind of the more vocal, chirpy kind of captain in Aaron Smith, and then you've got that kind of more calm, collected person in Dixon.
Yeah,
so
man, smiling assassin, bro. Anyone like if you're in a forward pack and you're a captain and you don't talk but you smile, that's that Manny Pacquiao mentality, bro. That's scary, bro. You don't like playing against. It's like you're trying to antagonize him. He's like, okay, smiles at you, and you're like, oh no, what did I do?
Yeah, you're just regretting every decision you've ever made.
Yeah, in your head, you're like, this is gonna hurt. I'm not looking forward to this.
All right, well, we'll move to the topic that is going to be pretty tough for us to talk about. So we're obviously big Chiefs fans. I don't know which one of us is the bigger Chiefs fan. We can probably debate about that on one episode. But we're obviously both disappointed about the result, and I can't imagine Gatland is any less disappointed or any more disappointed by going into a bye week with no wins.
You get points though, so at least they're gonna come out on top with some points for the bye.
I love consolation prizes. There we go. Okay,
Man,
yeah.
I'm an optimist. I don't know what's happening, man. The fall from grace is real. I think there's just no there's there, there's no continuity. There's no
Yeah.
trust.
Mm.
And you know what? Ironically, I think what's his name? Having a complete mind blank now.
Who we talk? Centers, forward
Nah,
pack.
fly half. Cruden. I
Cruden,
think
yeah.
I think he's playing great footy right now.
He's playing amazing. Yeah, no, he's doing great, and he's a great leader on the field as well. So he's playing very well.
Do you know who is playing rubbish? ALB, my bro.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. Well, obviously we can't for the last week because he wasn't there, but the weeks before, he's not really stepping up.
Nah, man, and they're struggling to because they work off that his type of positional play so much.
The thing that I'm kind of seeing though, this is just from my eyes, is I think he's in this Chiefs kind of dynamic. I think he's a better 13 than he is a 12. And
I agree.
You can't take Quinn Tupaia out because Tupaia, even though he is young and he's inexperienced, he's played a lot of great 13. So if you have to choose between putting ALB in there or Tupaia, you have to put Tupaia there. So you have to put ALB at 12.
At 12.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, look, man, like the forwards are off. I do like
we've lost Brody. We've lost Brody, so that's a lot. So that's a lot of leadership and experience gone. And you've got Sam Cane back, but yeah.
Do we have Sam Cane back though?
Not really.
I mean,
not 100. Not 100%.
Ugh, I know.
But the thing that I did like though is he was vocal about that penalty. And I'm not hating on Geordie Barrett's penalty kick. He kicked it from 58 meters, and that was damn impressive. But
it was very impressive.
If you rewatch it, the penalty advantage had happened 10 meters behind where he actually kicked the ball. So Geordie had walked it through 10 meters, and he was being a good captain. He was vocal, but his gameplay, it's not up to snuff really.
No, like the Chiefs just in general are just not performing right now. Now could that be Gatlin? Yes, that it very much could be. For all the success he's had, let's not forget his success has come from teams he's built. Yeah. He's gone into systems that he can really put the Gatlin feel on and build around his ideology of how a team should be. Now, you're not going to do that to any of the New Zealand franchises at all.
See, I think that's why people are afraid to ask that question, because they're sitting there going, "What can it be Gatlin?" But then everyone turns around and goes, "No, Gatlin has this amazing coaching career. He is a great coach." But yeah, you're 100% right. How are we asking the right question and going, whose fault really is it? Is it Gatlin's?
Yeah, we don't know. Well, I mean, and I think too, I think Gatlin's amazing coach. Like him and what's his face? Eddie. What's his name? The old Wallabies coach did England last year.
Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones.
Yeah.
What they did to go from Southern Hemisphere to the Northern Hemisphere, and literally, if it wasn't for those two guys, Northern Hemisphere rugby would be up shit's creek without a paddle. Like they really introduced dynamic rugby, understanding that, a 6, 7, 8 are just another 12, 13, 15 that just do a little bit extra. Like just sort of that, not on a positional play level, but just in a mentality, like, 1 across 15, you need to be able to do everything and play this way. That's how the All Blacks have been so successful the last 20 years is you've got hookers that believe that they can sit on the wing and score tries, and they do.
Yeah. Dane Coles is a proven factor of that every game.
I know, right? Who can forget his try when they played the Blues and bringing in Bowden? But yeah, so I think what Gatlin's doing is he's an amazing coach and he's got a proven reputation. But has he got the roster that he wanted to play the game that he wants to play?
And other players buying into kind of his mentality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because, like I said earlier, you can't, like, the Chiefs are a very successful Super Rugby franchise. They
Yeah.
continually perform. And this is the first year that I can honestly remember where I'm like, what the every week.
Oh, it was this last game. I don't think my girlfriend has seen me so mad and disappointed at the same time, where I'm sitting
And
in bed going, what is going on?
yeah, and here's the thing, right? You look comparatively to the Australian sides that underperformed in week one. And there's almost like, well, you can understand new guys, they've got their spine isn't as don't have as many international players. But like, this is not the Chiefs have a very good squad, and they've still got a bunch of international players in there, and they've all been playing together for quite a while.
Yeah.
If anything, Cruden should be the one that's not keeping up with the speed or the physicality, and
That's what I thought was going to
and
happen.
he's shining, man. When they started him on the bench for that first game, I thought, okay, that's smart. But then they were struggling, and then he comes on, and everything changes.
Yeah, he made a massive impact.
Yeah, so I've got nothing to say. Like, I don't know why this has happened. I can handle they haven't been outplayed. That's another annoying thing. Like, they've just been so stupid. Like, they should have won on the weekend. They should have beat the Canes, man.
It's mistakes that kind of bring it on to them. It's just silly kind of options when they choose push passes,
Correct.
things like that. So
yeah.
Because
I mean, physically they look fine.
Well, you look at their kind of forward pack. I can't remember the eight's last name. But you've got Boshier and you've got Sam Cane, and obviously Boshier's been kind of one of the standout players for the Chiefs organization in that first kind of stint before they went into the pandemic. And then you've got a pretty solid backline, but it's just something where I don't know what isn't clicking.
Is it? Yeah, man. I don't know either, and I'm getting frustrated just thinking about it.
We'll move on to something that I actually wanted to talk about. It's something that I've been really enjoying, but a lot of people have been disliking on social media, and they've been saying it's been really slowing down the game, is the refereeing. So it's something where
they're all idiots. Shut up.
The refs.
No. People that are saying the refs are bad.
I was about to say, I was like, what?
No, refs are amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I've been saying, and a lot of people who are on like these Facebook groups and other things, they're saying is slowing down the game. They're doing this, and I was like, well, are you looking at what is? Well, like, I'll give you an example. So Karifi on the Hurricanes, he got penalised for not supporting his body weight and leaning over to kind of do what he would usually do, was scoop, and kind of if he gets contact, he'll take it back. Where maybe a year or two ago, that would happen in every game, and a lot of referees wouldn't even bat an eye at it. So what do you think about the refereeing? Are you liking it?
No, I'm loving the refereeing. I think the best thing that's happened is the leash is shorter, but the advantage is longer. And I think, look, as a former loose forward, by the rules, what he's doing is illegal. Just because we got away with it for so long doesn't mean. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, so it's like, I'm all for it. I think the one thing I've noticed with the refereeing is, like I said, is the leash is shorter, but the advantage is longer, which in the long run makes the game faster. So I don't understand why they're saying it's slowing it down. And they're also introducing the penalties for the scrums. If they're deliberately not hitting right, it's a short arm straight away. They're not giving you the 3 or 4 chances like they used to, unless there's something wrong with the ground or they're slipping. Do you know what I mean? So I've seen the same, like, similar chat about the refereeing, but I honestly think it's amazing, and I like that they're playing these long advantages and giving the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team.
Yeah,
which I think has across the board too. Like, that's why, I mean, because New Zealand's obviously like 2-3 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
I was really interested to see what was going to happen week 1 of the Australian comp. And they were beautiful. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. I honestly couldn't say anything bad about the refereeing over collectively the 4 weeks that Super Rugby's been back.
And you mentioned the favoritism of the attacking team, but they're still giving the penalties for people leaving their feet when they're going into the rucks, or people coming in from the side. So it's great refereeing. So I'm with you on it.
I think they've tightened up around the ruck and maul a lot, which needed to happen. Which is why what game was it? I'm totally. Was it the Reds game? Must have been the Reds game. Where it was the Reds game where New South Wales were deliberately crashing, killing the ball on the
sacking
ruck.
it.
Yeah, like with 10 meters out.
Yeah.
And it happened the first time, fine. Second time, third time, he was like, "That's it. Do it again. You're being marched."
Yeah.
And you could see they're like, and then James Hooper tries to come in, and he's like, "James, you know the rules, mate. Just tell your team." I was like, "Yeah, tell him, please."
Like, okay, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, but even then, like later in the game, where they were killing the Waratahs were killing them. This all happened in the first half as well. They were deliberately killing the momentum because the Reds were getting that quick ball out from the ruck.
Yeah.
And they're deliberately shooting offside. And he goes up to Rob Simmons and just said, "Rob, I know what you're doing. You've already been given a warning within the 5 meters of the try line. If you guys deliberately try and shut down the advantage, you're being marched." And I was like, "See that?" And that precedent has not been set before. So
the one thing that I'm liking too is that I'll see when it comes to captaincies in New Zealand in the Aotearoa competition, they'll come over and they'll be like, "Can I have a chat to my team?" And they'll go and bring everyone over. But it seems to be that like with the Australian kind of this, and this isn't a dig at Australian Super Rugby again, but it's more of kind of a grubbier mentality. Like they'll go over and they'll take that and they'll be like, "Okay, I'll just yell at them across a field where no one can hear me because they're fans, even though there's only 1,500 fans in the stands right now." But it's something where like you need to tell your team that, and you need to kind of pass that message along and get on the same page, because that crap just keeps happening. So
correct, I agree.
All right, so we'll move on to kind of the last topic of, well, actually the one question I wanted to ask is in regards to that penalty kick. So say for example, if I'm not harping on. I swear I'm not harping on about it. But
it's okay. I was dirty too.
If the captain does see that it needs to kind of be taken back 10 meters and the referee doesn't see that, because it's under my kind of understanding that the ARs are only there as vision and they can help out if the ref needs them, but the AR can't ever give information to overturn it. Yeah. So
correct.
Do you think if Super Rugby or kind of those competitions introduce a challenge like they have in NFL, what would you think of that? Like if the coach or a captain had a challenge?
Okay, well, going cross codes and seeing what's happening in the NRL with the challenge, it works. Especially on the weekend, we saw it helped both the Warriors and the Broncos. I mean, ultimately, it helped the Warriors the most. But I think the challenge worked.
Warriors.
Bro, two of my teams, plus Golden State Warriors. Don't even get me started. It's been a real bad support.
Just focus on rugby.
Yeah. So I think the challenge works. Having said that, I'm also against the challenge because part of rugby is the human behavior. And I think that if the grub or the green goes your way, then sometimes, the referee's going to make a call, and again, it went against us as Chiefs supporters. So, I don't want to sit on the fence. I can see the positives and the negatives for having a challenge. I think ultimately, when it comes to moments where the game is dependent, I think there should be. I think whether the ARs can get involved or there's a captain's challenge, I think definitely that needs to be looked at, because what if that was a grand final?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So it's something where I think if they do what they do with the NFL, where they go, I'll give you a challenge, but it will take away a substitution. So they on the NFL they do it with a timeout. So if they take away one of our substitutions, if we challenge it, that kind of raises the stakes. So we can kind of challenge that, but it'll be a really costly decision.
So even if it is right, though, you still lose that substitution.
No, yeah. So if it's right, you don't lose that substitution. But if it's wrong, like if you challenged it and you're wrong, then you lose that substitution. So that could be very costly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah. So I think that's something that that a couple of people have been talking about in the media, and they think that they could use that as kind of something.
Yeah.
But I think you are right on the other stance as well, is that it comes down to kind of human error, or it goes how it goes. Like, you've just got to play, and if you turn around and start being like those kind of games where you can bitch and moan the whole time and go, I want to complain, it's going to kind of bring a really bad culture to it. So
I mean, here's the thing: that penalty shouldn't have happened in the first place. Period. That penalty doesn't happen, they don't get to take that kick, right? Like, so the onus has to go back on the Chiefs, but also. Damn, I was angry. And then he marched it like, and you know what? It wasn't 10 meters, bro. It was like 13. I was like, gee, take that kick back, man.
I can't remember who it was, but I've seen someone do that in a game. He was sitting there and he picked up the ball, and then while the referee had his back to him, he just started taking about 5 or 6 meters like closer, and the referee turned and was like, "Come on, mate, let's go back." And I was sitting there just pissing myself laughing. I was like, "You've got 50 cameras around you. You've got ARs in their mic. I think they'll know what's going on."
Yeah, mate. What are you doing? Well, it works, obviously, if you're a Barrett. Yeah. Oh!
Yeah, let's not play the entitlement card, but I 100% agree with you. No, and we'll leave it there. But I've been really enjoying. We'll talk about last in that game is the Hurricanes' tactic of subbing off Garden Bashop at 50 minutes and putting Perinara in at 10. So he's not really a natural 10, but he's able to play well enough to make the team function.
Do you think that's coming down from up top?
I don't know, actually, because that could definitely be something that is kind of like a pity weepoo situation where they're converting their 9 into a 10, and where you want to kind of have that option if you need to go there. But
I mean, it's good though. I rate Batchup. I think it's about time he got his shot, and he's definitely making use of the time on the field. But when Perinara comes on, that intensity goes up that little bit, right? And it's very noticeable.
Especially with, I believe it's Jamie Booth, who's the replacement 9. He's a great 9. Like, when I see him come on the field, he brings a whole nother level. He's able to kind of keep up with the speed, fresh legs, getting to every ruck and feeding that pill. And then you've got guys like Artie Savia, and then you've got Dane Coles who can hit those outsides.
I think if you notice when Perinara goes to 10, watch Artie Savia is always on that inside channel. And whether or not the ball goes to him or not, it directs that defensive traffic to watch that inside channel, which then is giving Perinara that option to go out wide or to kick it through, which he's been doing, which has been really interesting to watch.
Watching him make those territory calls, because when I first watched him do it when he was playing in 10, I was sitting there going, "No, what did you do?" And then I realized, and I actually analyzed it. I watched the replay, and I was like, "No, fair call."
Yeah, that's why you're on the field, and I'm out here commentating.
The last thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to kind of the New Zealand competition, the Aotearoa competition, is we've obviously had the announcement that the North versus South game is coming up. So, but
who needs butters though when we got that?
I'm super excited for it. A lot of people are talking about moving the Bledisloe and having it in Australia when they're not even out of the pandemic correctly at all. When you've got Super Rugby Aotearoa running, you've got New Zealand where you can put them in specific areas. But I think that's another topic. But I want to talk about the eligibility for selection. So it's caused quite a stir. So you've got eligibility based on where you play your first ever provincial game. So for example, you've got Damien McKenzie, grew up in the South Island, played school rugby in the South Island, played club rugby in the South Island, but he's only eligible for North Island because he played his first game for Waikato. So what do you think about it?
Okay, so I'm split on this. I think if there's the state of origin approach, which is quite similar to this now, I think to the North-South, I understand it because I think the provincial, they took you from being unknown to what you are. Do you know what I mean? So because I think it's unfair that Damien McKenzie, grew up south. he got given his shot. The reason why he isn't all back right now is because of Waikato.
So it's kind of paying homage to the people that gave you your shot. So it's
The
it's
shot.
kind of it's the tribal, it's kind of the tribal kind of mentality where you want to pay homage to your kind of
Yeah,
ancestors, and you want to
definitely.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that, I mean, if that being said, then I would never be able to play for Tonga. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I could only ever play for Aussie or New Zealand. So it's sort of like, well, no, like, do you know what I mean? And so
Do you think they should have a choice and a say in the matter? Do you think they should be able to say,
no, not at
I
all,
want to play?
not at all. I think there needs to be one set of rules, and those rules have to be abided by. What I'm like I said, whichever rules they are, I'm cool with. But I suppose I'd probably go the route. I actually don't mind the eligibility rules now, because I firmly believe that you need to definitely give thanks to the clubs that took the chance, right? And I understand coming through the system, and your club rugby is really important, and I'm not trying to write that off at all. But there's Kieran Reid, right? He's from Auckland. He's from Manukau.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there's the loyalty to being at home. I completely am representing home. 100% understand that. I also think when it comes to a fixture like this, especially in the competitive state that New Zealand is, like, you got brushed, bro, and these guys came through and gave you the chance, and you took it for ball. So I think there needs to be some sort of loyalty to that as well.
Okay.
But either way, I don't care.
It's North versus South, and we're gonna love it.
and it's gonna shit on. Sorry if I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss or not, but
we can now because you just did. So there
my
you
bad.
go.
We'll bleep it out. Comparatively to like the Bledisloe Cup, especially with I want to hate, because the Wallabies could come out and kill it. Like Dave Rennie, I think is an amazing coach too. So who knows what's gonna happen? But
I'm excited for Rennie. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what he does for kind of the culture. Like we were talking about, we've got a young group of people, and then we'll see how that kind of pans out. But I think with the North versus South, like we saw kind of a comparison, or a closer comparison to that, was when they had the Wallaby trials in 2018, where they had the Wallabies team that played the Super Rugby All Stars or something like that.
Yep.
So it's similar kind of dynamic, but I think I'm excited to see a potential Barrett against Barrett
versus Barrett.
Because you've got Geordie, who played for Canterbury for his first Mitre 10 Cup game, and then you've got Wellington. Oh no, Taranaki for the other Barrett.
What do you think about the rules then, for the eligibility rules?
I'm kind of the same. I'm kind of the same with you. Like I think once you kind of start introducing the option for people to go, no, I want to choose to play for North or South. If you give them the alternative or the option to choose, it just opens the floodgate for chaos. So I think if you kind of implement something like that, some people may not like it, but you are right. You're paying homage to the people that gave you an opportunity, and like you said, at the end of the day, we're gonna love it. It's gonna be awesome rugby.
It's gonna be so like make it a best of
30
three.
players.
In the world. I'm gonna.
Well, everyone saw that meme that was coming out for a while. I think just before the 2019 World Cup, where they had the first string, second string, third string, and fourth string All Black team, and then people were going, that fourth string team can make a run at a lot of teams. Yeah,
I know, right? So it's going to be exciting. I did want to bring up something that I don't think it's only just come out in the media today. But New Zealand Rugby are looking to end their Super Rugby contract.
Yeah, and their ties with it. I saw that a few hours ago, and I will not lie. I was sitting on the sofa just after a workout, kind of just chilling out, and then scrolling through that and saw that, and I was baffled. But it's something where, in my opinion, I don't think Sanzar has been utilizing New Zealand competition to its fullest. Like obviously, Super Rugby has been a staple competition for many years, and we wouldn't be where we are without the kind of the super competition that has been implemented. But I definitely think, like, if I think it was someone's show, they were talking about implementing Japan with New Zealand into one competition, and kind of utilizing that kind of dynamic, where they can also kind of utilize the overseas contracts, kind of like what Bowden's doing, where you can go for a year and you can go play and get that money in Suntory and then come back and play you another 2 years.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Reading it, they want to keep like an Australasian competition, so Japan and Australia, and a team from the Pacific. I think too, this has everything to do with Dave Rennie wanting to change the Ghetto rule. Which I think is a loaded, like, that really annoyed me because there's so many players that aren't allowed to play for second tier nations that determined to stay in Australia and play for or New Zealand and play for an Australian New Zealand franchise. And now you're saying that it's okay now just because your stocks are running low and you guys look like the Wallabies are going to drop a couple of places.
Well, you got two things with that. You've got the one part where you talked about where you've got players who want to go play for Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, like those types of teams, and some teams, clubs who have signed them won't release them. So it's basically in their contract. You can't go and play international rugby unless we give you the release. And the other side of it as well is you've also got New Zealand Rugby, who spent so long building that kind of philosophy where we want to keep our players here and we want to grow them here. And they've built such a great kind of dynamic about grassroots rugby and going through the system and becoming an All Black the right way. I agree with you. Is taking away that Ghetto rule, you're just having a free for all where people can just go every which way they want to.
Exactly. So like New Zealand saying, well, no, we don't want to be a part of Sansa anymore because it's now becoming a joke. Like I think Rugby Australia are just pulling their pants down and crapping on what could be potentially like an amazing system that works, and it's not. And because Rugby Australia have failed the community and grassroots rugby, and they're now struggling to develop players, and they're, Isaac Rodder and those other two fellas that bounced to go overseas. And man, you know what? If I'm getting paid $300,000 to play Super Rugby or $1 million to go play French rugby, Japanese rugby, or in the UK, man, I'm telling you right now, man, I'm taking that money, bro. Do you know what I mean? And because especially if there's so many changes, and that I think it's just disrespectful to the players that stay, but also beyond what your international eligibility, it's almost saying, well, what's the point then? Like, you bring me through a system where, and the system in Australia is faulty comparatively to what they have in the UK, South Africa, and New Zealand, if we're going to talk tier one nations. And for New Zealand to turn around and say, look, we want to, we want out, and we're going to promote rugby in the right way to allow these players get this experience so that the international game is lifted. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I can tell you right now, Rugby Australia are in that much in debt that they're going to have to just fall in line. They won't be able to make a power play. So I also think New Zealand Rugby are definitely being, like, I don't want to say bullies, but being smart with their business model.
Yeah.
And saying, look, we're going to do this because we can afford it, and we want our players and the international game to grow. And I think if they do that I've always said for the last 10 years, South Africa need to stick to the Northern Hemisphere because they're on the same time schedule, and traveling is so much easier. I think Argentina, a part of the Australasian community, is good for them. Is it good for the future? Who knows? Especially with the Americas rugby growing. Why can't they be the dominant country over? Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be. I'm really interested because I was like, wow, New Zealand really go like, oh, you the big boy? Oh, really?
All right, let's table this conversation. We'll probably come back to it in a future episode. But yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of moving parts here, and I think we're just going to have to kind of either see how it plays out, or we'll just have a chat about it on a future one. But it's called the bonus point for a reason. We've got a bonus point segment. This will be a quick one to finish off the show. But Black Ferns have now returned back to training. So after a long time, we see all the girls come back into the mix. And what I've been surprised about is there's been a lot of younger girls that have been implemented into that Black Ferns squad. So a couple of women I've coached in 2 years ago in 2018 when I coached them for the Auckland FPC team. Like, Sapphire Abrams, she's now into that mix, and she's saying even though that the kind of the set piece and the maps and everything that they're going through is kind of muddling her brain a little bit, she's able to kind of understand it all, and she's going through, she's doing her homework. But how have you been liking seeing them back in training?
Bruh, look, I have made no shame that the likes of your Kala Hohepas excite me. Charmaine Smith, do you know what I mean? Like, I think the Black Ferns have set the standard to elite female rugby athletes, and seeing them back training is super exciting. And they've already announced they're playing the Wallabies, right?
I think that just happened today because I think they did a kind of video to say they were coming back to training, and they said hopefully we'll be able to organize the Wallabies.
August 8th. That's the date. But yeah, like I know, so good. I'm excited. I think we need this too. I think women's rugby is moving so fast and swiftly, and it's amazing and it's beautiful. And the faster that we can get women's rugby back on track, and it's at the helm are the Black Ferns, who are definitely the leaders in women's rugby worldwide right now, the better it is. And you're right, the amount of young people, the youngins coming forward, and towards the back end of last season, you had your Natalia Moores who came through the system and are really starting to shine, and they need to get these games under their belts, especially before the World Cup in a couple of years.
How do you? So that leads me into my last question: is how important do you think the FPC is going to be? The Farah Palmer Cup is going to be for the build up to the World Cup.
It's fundamental. With any sort of international game, you need competitions, and to really, dust out the closet and get back into like performance based games.
Just kind of preparation, so preparation and kind of get rid of the cobwebs and
exactly like you said earlier in today's episode. Like the Australian teams are still dusting out, the closet. So this week will be a bit better. I think with the competition returning for the girls, we're going to see some dusty cobwebs, but then it's not going to take too long before the oil's in the machine, and we're going to start seeing those high performers starting to shine. And also too, I think it's fundamental for the coaching staff to really see who has worked the hardest in this, whatever this off-season type thing has been. Because mentality going into a World Cup is 100% what you need over the physical prowess, I suppose, to an extent. Yeah. You want to make sure you've got like a strong mentality within the team.
All right, we'll table that conversation as well, so that way we can maybe come back to that in another episode. But yeah, that's episode 1 in the books, brother. Finally, we were able to kind of do that one.
Victory!
Yeah. No, but it's good. So be on the lookout for new episodes, and we've got some new interviews coming out. Some new ones, hopefully with Carl Tanana, Palmer Fowl, and then a few other people we're hopefully interviewing in the new episodes. But we should hopefully be releasing a new episode every week, or at least bi-weekly, just talking about what's going on in the rugby community. But yeah, big thank you to my brother Tavita Halafia, aka No Dog Capote.
Thank you for
check him out on Spotify and check out his new music coming out. But yeah, tune in next time. Thank you for joining us for the Bonus Point podcast.